Hello folks, this is Norm the teacher again, and I have that urge to teach you something else. Today I'm in a different setting. I'm not in my kitchen. Instead I'm in my one of my bedrooms where I have all of my reloading equipment for reloading ammunition. And I wanted to show you one thing that I did during the pandemic when I couldn't get a set of 45 ACP dies to reload ammunition for my Charles Daly 1911 handgun. And I just want to show you one thing I did. I did several things, but one thing I did is I established a way to get an OAL. OAL stands for overall length. And what I mean by overall length is the overall length of a cartridge from the very tip of the bullet down to the bottom of the base of the bullet. That distance is called OAL, or overall length. And you can see here I've seated 3 of them, and I have 7 more to seat yet. They've already been charged with powder, and the bullets have already been lubed with ALOX. And here's kind of a view of my work area for reloading ammunition here. And what I want to show you mainly is what I came up with to get this perfect OAL for every cartridge for my Charles Daly 1911. What I did is I have 2 little pieces of flat steel here. I take one piece of flat steel and put it on top of the shell holder in my press. And then I take a cartridge where the bullet has not been seated yet, which this one is, and I put it on top of that steel plate. And then I have this. I cut this on my lathe. It's a shaft from aluminum cans that I melted down, and I made it into a shaft. And I machined it a little bit on the outside here. And then while I was on the lathe, I drilled a hole where the cartridge, the hole is just a little bit bigger than the cartridge. And it fits over like that. And then what I do is I have a press. In the press, I have this plate pushed down on the top of the bullet. And this surface here stops this plate, like this, when it gets down there. And that results in a perfect OAL, and the OAL is the length of this cylinder from here to here. And I get a perfect OAL that way. That way I don't have to, I can do this for every cartridge that I reload, whether it be my 30-06 rifle, 30-30 rifle, my 9mm, my 45 ACP. Well, this one's for my 45 ACP. And so I have it set up here, the bullet's on that steel plate, and I put this over the bullet, or the cartridge rather. Then I hold this up here under one of my dies, and one of my dies that has a flat bottom. You know, you don't want to use the sizing die, because it, like right here, it has that pin that sticks down that pushes out the primer. You obviously don't want to use that. But you can use any die that has a flat bottom. And I'm going to use the one that I use for flaring. And so I put it here, like so. I just hold it here. And unfortunately, because I'm going to try to do this while holding the camera here, I pull down the handle. Now, I need a third arm here for this. Anyway, I pull down the handle, and what happens is this, the die right here, watch. Without holding the steel plate in place, I'll pull up. And see, that'll come up, and that the tip of that bullet will touch the bottom of that steel plate, and then I just keep going and press it until it presses down like that. And then you have a perfectly seated bullet. So I'll do it to this one. I got to put my phone down for a minute here. Put it down on the chair, and then I'll show you the result. Okay. Yeah, maybe I can show you now that I've got it positioned. I got it positioned right. Now watch, I'm going to pull the handle down and it'll press that bullet down in there. And then it stops. The steel plate is on top of that cylinder and it stops. And I have a perfect OAL. Then I take it off like this. And then I just remove everything. I remove the steel plate. I remove the cylinder. And then I remove the bullet and put it with my other seated bullets, or cartridges rather, and it's done. So that's all I wanted to show you there. I was able to use my 45 Colt dies to load my 45 ACP ammunition, and there was something else I did for crimping the 45 ACP with my 45 dies, but I'll make another video on that. But this is what I did for getting for seating the bullet and getting the correct OAL for a 45 ACP. And the beauty of this is you can make one of these for every gun that you have. And even if I had two 1911s, I'd probably have two of these, because one 1911 might not have exactly the same OAL as another 1911. The perfect OAL is where you have the bullet, or when the cartridge is loaded into the gun, the bullet is just touching the rifling. It's not smashed into the rifling, it's just touching it. And then when the slide is fully closed. That's a perfect OAL. And that can vary from one 1911 to another 1911. So I have this perfectly set up for my 1911 Charles Daly. Okay, so that's all I wanted to show on this particular video, was getting the perfect OAL for a particular gun you may have, and just make one of these on your lathe if you have a lathe. If you don't have a lathe, my gosh, get one. Come on, you gotta have a lathe. Get one of those little Harbor Freight lathes. That's what I have, is just a little Harbor Freight lathe. And I'm making small stuff like that, it works great. Yeah, so long folks, and I'll see you in the next video.